Hello, folks. It's Tuesday, so it's Global Day. So let's see if I can get you around the world in 180 seconds or so, give or take a little bit. Listen, talking with our guys that run the tech centers around the world, get some good insights, and so I'll pass along kind of some of the highlights so you can judge what's happening in different markets. Let's go with India first. Things are starting to roll again in India. OEMs are starting to really move more into functioning, albeit at lower hours. They're moving forward. Car dealers are opening up and starting to move product out the door. Most of the states throughout India have pulled back restrictions. The CTC, our tech center, is open, limiting staff to 33%, which is a norm now, of course, so they can get their social distancing. Doing the same thing in our tech center. Air travel is not operational yet for folks getting around, so obviously that has a lot of limitations. But effective on 5/17, a lot of the restrictions will be kind of further reduced in the area. Government's making some incentives to try to bring manufacturing into India, so you get some good tax abatements if you can come in within a certain period of time. So part of what they're doing there. Europe seeing continued gradual improvement, except in Russia, of course, and Spain's still having a little bit of a hard time as well. But really expecting by mid-May to early June, most of the travel between the different countries and also a lot of the restrictions really to be pulled back quite a bit and eased. Germany, interestingly enough, figured out how to start up their manufacturing pretty much before everybody else. So they're really taking advantage of leveraging coordination between their unions and their companies and kind of some really good policies for getting worker safety in. But they started their economic engine up before a lot of the other countries, and I think it's going to really pay dividends for them to be in that position. Mexico, if we jump there, Mexico City is now past peak, which is really quite good. So there's still 531 still the target at this point for kind of reducing some of the additional major restrictions that are out there. Many of the regions they still need to be careful of because they haven't yet seen peak in all locations around the country. So there will be some flare-ups in different areas likely. But Mexico City obviously being the biggest and being past their peak, that's very positive news. 30-40% of the export market, manufacturing market is already in working mode. Again, albeit at lower hours. GDP for March was 4.5, down 4.5%, and ISM for April was 35%. So scary numbers like everybody else is having. Brazil is still kind of in a critical phase. They need to do a lot more testing to really see what the depth and severity is of their situation there. They've got monetary issues. Central bank is getting involved again, dealing with currency issues and trying to do some things to stabilize things there. OEMs have opened up. Last week they did open up and are trying to move forward, but like other places, are having supply chain issues in order to keep their own engines running. So that's a bit of a problem. And kind of an interesting note from there, 43% of the small to medium-sized companies have been making investments, big investments into work from home technology. So I think they're seeing this kind of going on for a while, which is interesting. China's still improving. Best way to tell that and see that is talk to our guys and see the traffic is back in full blossom there. So anyone who's been there knows what that's like. Apparently it's starting to look like that again. Government has lowered the risk levels. Exports have taken a pretty big jump, up 8% in April. Some of the largest export markets that from January through to April are Southeast Asia, number one, Europe, number two, US, three, and Japan, four. And a lot of our member companies are actually seeing some of that pickup and the drive for the stuff that they're putting into the Chinese market. The Automotive Manufacturers Association in China, looked at numbers from the first 3 months of the year. They were off 35%, negative 35%. But April, they're cranking out 2.1 million vehicles, so they're definitely getting back up to full capacity and full volume there. Supply chain issues like in other locations, there's a big movement there, as I was saying before, about localizing their manufacturing. In the construction industry, that's up quite a bit. Just excavators alone is up 60%. And part of that is there was basically not much going on in the first quarter. And all that work that wasn't done, they're trying to now rapidly catch up on. And so they're putting everything into overdrive. BYD is a big electronic manufacturer, e-car manufacturer, build your dreams. They've actually, interestingly, converted from February until now to create 300 PPE mask making lines, not 300 masks per day. I said 300 mask making lines, automated lines. That's a lot of automation and motion control going into that space. And so, again, a lot of opportunities that could be popping up with some of the things that are happening in manufacturing. Disneyland Shanghai opened up. Machine tool sales guys are talking to our folks on the ground and saying they're back into motion, going out visiting customers and starting to look at getting some more work, which is a positive sign for those guys, of course. And the government in Shanghai is putting a really big investment, 40 billion, into infrastructure, which they're calling new infrastructure, meaning not bridges and roads, but they're talking about 5G, high-speed internet, IoT, data centers. So $40 billion getting invested there. So again, look for opportunities in our guys that are in the tech spots, some of the software spaces, and leveraging data and data utilization out of those when that stuff gets into factories. So that's a little bit what's going on around the world. Hopefully you find that helpful. Little note for tomorrow. I need to switch the time up to 2:30 just for tomorrow. I've got a standing event that's going to be clogging up the second half of my schedule, and I want to make sure I do keep you guys updated on a few things. And so I'll be live at 2:30 tomorrow. Hope to see you then, and take care.